All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a been. It wasn't a good Saturday. I don't know how it was. It wasn't a good Friday for you. Let's start with that. So I don't have to focus on
I think
us for the
I think
start.
we should establish a rule for this one. You don't talk about Scotland. I won't talk about Gattuso.
Listen, he's in split now. Tomorrow's his first
I
press
know.
conference. We have to talk about it. We can at least mention it.
Yeah,
Yeah, tomorrow, Wednesday. Actually, not Wednesday. Tuesday. He's
Tuesday.
having his first press conference, which it's gonna be entertaining, at least.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm biased against him because he used to play for Rangers, and because
Yeah.
I think as a player, I mean, probably not so much for yourself from age wise, but as a player, I mean, he was a really hateable player.
Yeah,
Because he
I
was
can imagine.
a dirty little so and so. He was up there in my dislike rankings with not quite up to Deco, but that sort of region.
That sort of range.
Deco is the all-time one for me. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. He's not exactly had that greater record as a manager, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, he's been very average.
Yeah, he's managed to stay 18 months or so in jobs by just about being good enough. It's certainly not better than, let's say, Lecco.
Yep.
Or Juric.
True. I mean, Juric, he's been for 3 years the manager of Torino, right? Or 4 even?
I think 3, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that's enough of Gattuso talk. Enough of Hajduk talk. I think we gotta get to the main business. We're here for Scotland. We just skipped over that.
Even, man. I mean,
listen, you guys at least scored a goal. You guys at least scored a goal.
Well, I mean, I don't know if people are aware of this. I don't think you have this in Croatia. We have Greggs, who are so they're not fast food, but you go to them. You have a couple in every town, and they sell pastries.
Yeah.
So you go in, you get a sausage roll. They have a promotion on through the Euros, which is for every 0.01 xg Scotland's create, they will give out 100 free sausage rolls. So everyone subscribed to the mailing list in Scotland got a little email Saturday morning, said, we're giving out 100 free sausage rolls across the entire country. There are 271 branches of Greggs in Scotland. So that is less than a third of a sausage roll per branch in Scotland. That is how bad Friday was. I don't think there's a better way to illustrate it.
No, really, I didn't know that. But my God, not you didn't have a shot, but you scored. Meanwhile, Croatia's created the most XG so far in the third. Actually, I don't know if Belgium now beat it. Let me actually check if Belgium just beat it.
I saw a heat map of World Cup 2022 and this game. I think it's like 6.58 XG across the 4 games and 1 goal.
Yeah.
Which kind of just says how bad were Canada.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think even that 0.01 XG was very generous. It's one of those, and I think we'll probably touch on it a little bit when we get on to Dalić, because Steve Clarke had a similar sort of issue, which is he's very good. When he sets up well and gets it right, it's very good.
Yeah.
But when he sets up wrong, he's not quick enough to change.
No.
I mean, we were 15 minutes in it, and you could see the coaching staff saying, it's gone wrong. You need to change things.
Yeah.
And he doesn't change anything until we're down to 10 men. And I mean, God, that's the worst tackle you'll see all tournament from Portuguese.
Yeah.
But as every Scottish person will know, that is so typically Portuguese to do exactly that in that scenario as well.
And now he's suspended for the last 2 games of the tournament because I did not see Scotland.
Say he's out of the tournament.
He got back his backs. That's it.
Yeah. And we were better with 10 men than we were with 11, which again,
I mean,
says a lot.
So, yeah, it really does. And I mean, just the fact that Rudiger was your best player of the match. It wasn't great. But anyways, let's move on to our game, which I mean, it wasn't that bad of a performance. I think we can agree that the result was a bit exaggerated, but Spain were the better side on the day because they put away their chances. We couldn't even put a one away, not even the penalty, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you compare the games across what we've seen across the Euros so far, the closest comparison you have is last night, England-Serbia.
Yeah.
Ironically enough. In terms of both coaches got the first 15, 20 minutes wrong.
Yeah.
They set off and everyone was in their momentum. Now for Serbia, it was the case that, that 15 minutes was where the goal came and that was enough to kill the game. For Croatia, they did the hard work of getting themselves back into the game and then conceded stupid goals.
Yep.
Which kind of sums it up. I mean, that indicate it wasn't a bad performance.
No, there were too many. There were too many performances worse than this. The first that comes to mind is the Austria performance in the Nations League, where we also lost 3-0, which was 3 years ago now.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first half was very, very good. Just as a general football game, it was a really good game. There weren't many missed passes. It flowed really nice and quickly. It was a joy to watch.
Yeah.
The second half a bit different because Spain were able to take their foot off the gas a little bit.
But... and we also just surrendered Kovacic and Modric off, and the 60th minute Dalić himself said just had to rest them.
Yeah, but I think. But there are questions which this game has posed, which obviously we'll get to over. One question we already knew about, which was what they're doing on the left side of defence. The second question we already knew about, which is was Brozovic going to be up to speed in that role, in that midfield, having played a year in Saudi Arabia? The third question was, do Croatia have enough in attack? Which Portugal lulled everyone into a false sense of security about. And unfortunately, as the game has shown, as fallout from the game has shown, Bruno Petković has probably done his chances of playing, of starting a game.
Well, actually, I don't think he's gonna start a single game at these Euros, but he has spoken with Dalić. I saw a video today of him speaking with Dalić one-on-one. So hopefully, I'll get to Dalić. I don't want to speak about Dalić right now about those comments after the match, but we get to them because I have a few thoughts, just a few. But anyways, let's kind of chronologically go through the game. As you said, first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, nothing. I mean, Croatia was just on the back foot for those opening few minutes. Spain was just had the ball, but nothing happened. After that, we had a period of domination where we had the ball, tried to do something, didn't do anything. We had, I think, in the 22nd was the first real chance of the game, I think, where Stanisic crossed that ball into Budimir, and Budimir shot it wide, very wide, but still, it was the best chance of the game up until then. And then, just minutes after that, our defense decides to part ways like Moses did with the sea and just open up Morata for a very easy goal. So and Pongracic and Šutalo were just very slow, and Šutalo kind of stopped, and then just as soon as he stopped, that just opened up Morata for his run.
And I think so to that left side of the defense question, if you have Vardiol rather than Pongracic there, Vardiol would make sure he got that ball before Morata could get a shot off,
or at least challenge him, or at least try to push him.
Yeah.
And he is faster than Pongracic. I think we can agree on that very easily.
Yeah, I mean, that's a general problem with the squad as a whole. It isn't fast. And that's a wing issue and the speed of attack. It's one they've always been able to work around. But, obviously, it was exposed a couple of times on Saturday.
Yeah, and then 3 minutes later, after the Morata goal, Fabian Ruiz just dances and puts it. Is it between Šutalo's legs or Pongracic's legs?
Šutalo, I think.
Yeah, I think Šutalo's legs. And I mean, that's just a nice goal, but it shouldn't have even. Fabian Ruiz shouldn't have even had the chance to shoot. He had way too much time.
Yeah, again, he's got three. It goes round 3 players.
Yeah,
and that run starts outside the box. The first player just needs to push him.
Yeah, and that was Modric, I think, if I'm correct. And he just fell for it. He fell for his fake too. So and fell for it hard, not just okay. He fell for it full time, so he was completely out of the play as soon as Fabio Ruiz changed sides. And then was it after the 2 goals that Budimir had that big chance that he just missed?
Yes.
Yeah, which I even Guardiola tries to shoot, goes onto the far post, and Budimir just misses it by this much, not even half a second. We're talking about like a 10th by how much he missed it for.
It was, and there's been a few of them this tournament in general that I've seen so far.
Yeah,
Serbia were responsible for a couple last night in terms of that sort of ball going across the box and coming out, and it just being striking, maybe not quite anticipating it enough. And if they were a little sharper, which Budimir doesn't really have an excuse to not be sharp, save there's 3 weeks between the end of his season and the start of this game. It's that lack of sharpness, that lack of anticipation that has cost tap-ins.
Yeah. And I mean, then obviously that 3rd goal, just that's when it's over, and it's just a free kick goal. I mean, poor defense. That's always going to happen when you concede from a free kick. Somebody didn't do their job.
Yeah, and like you say, I mean, it killed the game.
Yeah, that was it.
Because even 2-1, you can maybe get back in it.
2-0 at halftime. You 2-0 at halftime. You can make some changes. If you score a goal, then it's wide open for anything to happen.
Yeah, 3-0/3-1.
Yeah,
as it could have been. It doesn't really matter. You still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. So and I mean, that second half wasn't really anything, but obviously the only thing the ball just didn't actually just put like a one sentence to describe the performance. Everything that could go wrong for us went wrong. We conceded all of our chances. Actually, Livakovic saved 1, and we missed all of our chances. I think it's almost theirs.
It's almost like everything that could go wrong did go wrong, because if you're suggesting that, I would say look at Friday night. That's what happens when everything goes wrong. This was less, and everything didn't go right. If that makes sense.
Yeah, true.
It wasn't like it was a performance full of mistakes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they just weren't finding passes at all, couldn't control play.
It's not like we weren't creating chances. We were creating very good chances.
And you watch Spain enough. And this was the fact is it's 16 years since Spain had not won possession in a game. Now that's quite some stat, just from a Spanish perspective, but also Croatia ended that, and it wasn't through. It wasn't by luck. It wasn't like Spain were going long or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
That first 15 minutes, they were playing the possession football they wanted to play. After that first 15, 20 minutes, Croatia were playing that possession football that Spain wanted to play.
Yeah. But they were clinical. We were the opposite of that. I don't know. I cannot find a word to describe that poor finishing performance. So it's really one of those that you really have no words for.
Yeah, XG for what it matters. So we just mentioned it about Belgium. It was 2.08 to 1.07 in Croatia's favour. Now, 0.8 of that, let's say, is the penalty. But even if you take the penalty out of that, Croatia led on XG, which tells you all you need to know really about the standard of performance that they put in and ultimately what the major problems were. But I think it's quite interesting in the fallout that if we're pointing out the attack, the ruthlessness as the major problem, well, actually, that's not really the bit of the side that people are clamoring for all that much change about. No one is saying Budimir should be dropped. No one is saying Maya shouldn't be playing. No one's even really saying Grammaric shouldn't be playing. And Grammaric did not have a good game.
No. I don't know what even he did of note. I cannot remember a single thing he did, actually.
Yeah, he was anonymous. I don't think he misplaced a couple of passes. That was really... Yeah, I think he tried to be quite ambitious in terms of spreading the ball across field. And just like, no, don't do that. The position people have debated about, I suppose this is probably going forward for Albania. Brozovic, I think, is the first and perhaps the biggest question. And it's, again, I'm keeping on making the comparison to last night, the Serbia game. You look at how Goodell was in that first half and completely didn't manage. Trent completely didn't manage. Bellingham.
Nothing.
And then at halftime, they make the change to Ilic. Ilic had a fantastic game. And that wasn't necessarily a slight on Goodell and how he plays. He's just a different type of player. He's more confident in the ball. And they got that circulation really going.
Yeah.
What Croatia didn't do was swap out Brozovic and get that circulation really going. So it poses a bit of a question. And maybe they do then what they did against North Macedonia, which is rather than sticking Maya out on the right, is we have Maya as one of the deeper midfielders. He isn't a defensive player. He's not going to do the running around and annoying people that Brozovic would. But if you want someone to be moving that ball around at the base of midfield and moving it quicker than Croatia did on Saturday, Maya is pretty much the perfect person to do that. Now, I'm just using Maya as an example because we've seen him recently used in that role. It might be, they choose Pasalic. It might be they choose someone else.
Yeah, but I'm kind of hoping for a double pivot with Kovacic and Modric to play a 4-2-3-1 because it is Albania, so we don't really need that man. But I'm also I'm taking a double pivot in the sense that Guardiola is starting a center back.
Yeah, I think there seems to be consensus. Now, whether Dalić agrees with the consensus or not,
I hope so.
We will see.
Hope so.
I think the consensus is you play in Sosa and, like I say, you're going 4-2-3-1. So the question isn't about Brozovic. He's getting a day off. It'll be who's playing in front, rather. Yeah. And I think what we saw on Saturday with Brozovic is the problem of not bringing the likes of Nico Shigur or someone like that who could just slot, right, okay, Brozovic is having a bad game. We don't want to change the full formation. We don't want to change too much. We can just do a straight swap. There isn't a straight swap for Brozovic in that squad.
No.
And or even, got 26 players.
And Petar Sušić is also one of the options that has come up in the second part of the season with Dinamo. But Broz just didn't do his job. I think it's simple as you've spoken about and when we were in possession, but when we were out of possession, he didn't do anything. No. Normally he intercepts a lot of balls. This time he only had one interception, and that's mostly because Spain's eights, Fabian Ruiz and Pedri, just had free will to go into our half space and just do what they want.
Yeah, we sort of talking about that defensive off the ball thing. Maya did more work than him.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Maya is not a defensively minded player in any way, shape, or form. Never has been, never will be. But fair play to him. He got through a load of work, but that's not his job. And
he shouldn't even be there.
No. So, it's a difficult question really because you don't want to just say, okay, this is a year in Saudi Arabia, Brozovic, you've lost a step. Let's say, you don't want to just make that assumption because, to be quite honest, if you came back to, I don't want to say proper football, but if you came back to a top 5 league, which he probably which
He
on his
can.
name,
Yeah,
he probably
absolutely
could
can.
still get a move there.
Yeah,
It may
absolutely.
be to your Inters and the top end of it, but there's no reason why if you were like joining Pongric's Sassuolo, which I know is a bad example because they got relegated, but that sort of side, there's no reason why he couldn't do a job there and regain his sharpness. But you don't have the luxury of being able to carry him through a couple months while he regains that sharpness in the tournament. And I think you look at that, the defensive things that he should be doing. Kovacic was doing it, Maya was doing it. Stanisic had a very good game. I think it's fair to say, and Brozovic didn't. Pasalic however many minutes Pasalic got on the field, he wasn't one of the first, was he? So he got the same amount of defensive duels as Brozovic did.
Yeah.
In a quarter of the time.
Yeah, and that was in the second half where Croatia was having most of the ball too.
Yeah. So for me, something's up there.
Yeah.
But again, you've not picked a replacement. So whether something's up or not, it's not a case of making a personnel adjustment. It's a case of making a tactical adjustment, which you can do against Albania. I think you might get away with it against Italy. I wasn't impressed with Italy, and we'll get
neither was I.
Few. But to go beyond the quarters in this tournament, which again, I think after the Portugal friendly was a lot of people's expectations, and my expectation was, the ceiling this side is the quarters.
Yeah,
that's where I sort of see the route ending for them. But to get to that point, you're gonna have to be tested with your holding midfielder, and if Brozovic isn't it, then you don't have one.
Yeah. Then you have to switch to the 4-2-3-1 and just have that Kovacic and Modric pivot, or you can even maybe try with Brozovic as one of the two, but I doubt it.
Yeah, but even then you have to get lucky, because another feature of the tournament so far, and we saw Spain do it, we saw England do it, we saw Germany do it to devastating effect, is the excellence of being able to play in between a defensive and midfield line. Yeah. Germany were brilliant at it on Friday, unfortunately. Belgium was brilliant at it. Christian Eriksen was fantastic at it against Slovenia as well. That's been a feature of that, and that's what Brozovic will be there to prevent.
Yeah.
So if you can't combat that sort of thing, you're probably not actually going to go very far in this tournament.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. For Croatia, they have to hope Brozovic was just on an off night. That's all you can really hope. But on top of that, you have to hope that Luka Modric just had an off night as well.
I don't think he had an off night. I think Spain just closed them down brilliantly. And I mean, when you do that to Modric, and we couldn't find any solution to get Modric on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, 175 caps, he's got to have one bad game every now and then.
I mean, yeah, obviously. He did. I mean, I remember saying that one of the worst Luka performances was against Morocco, because in that first group stage game, where we didn't do anything. That game we created less than in this game.
I mean, you could say the same about the first game of Euro 2020 as well against England.
Yeah.
That was just
dreadful.
a snooze fest. Croatia were better than both of those games here, but got a much worse result.
Yeah. So, changes, as I already mentioned, I want Guardiola center back because Pongracic is not up to the level. And
quite clearly.
Šutalo, quite clearly. And Šutalo being the main defender, the main defender to play the ball out, also wasn't good on him. I think he does very, very well as the second one when Guardiola takes charge in the defense. So I think Šutalo is better off with that, because it's constantly him on the ball, or then you gotta pass it to Pongracic, and eventually, he's the leader in that defense to get the ball out, which we didn't do a lot. It's not that we were patient. I think we were very, very passive. We get to the middle of the field and we just pass it back. No, very rarely did we attempt to, get into the final third, which we did. I did a few times, and it worked well, but we only tried it a few times.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, we've seen a lot of that sort of rotational passing around the back from sides so far this tournament, but it has also tended to be the sides that haven't necessarily been all that effective. But again, that's Croatia's game. I think one of the things I've seen people point out, is each side that has won a game as a side that has started on the front foot. Which Croatia didn't. I mean, really, I think the only ones who go against that today today's games, Romania, I think for the first 20 minutes or so they were quite penned back, and then you score a worldie, and it completely changes for the game.
As you do.
Slovakia again, they got the goal early, but then under pressure for most of the game. But it has been, if you don't start well, you don't do well.
Yeah. I would keep Stanisic on the right. As you said, I think he had a good game. He wasn't one of those that you can really point the finger at. Guardiola, as I said, moved to left back. You gotta have. You gotta have Sosa, and just because if Budimir is now gonna be the main striker, you gotta have somebody at least that can cross the ball, that has the capability to actually cross a good ball to him. Especially if you're not gonna play any wingers who are actually gonna give you the whiff.
Yeah, I mean, if this was after the tournament, this was the Nations League games, which, let's be honest, they are. I don't say they're glorified friendlies, because obviously we were in the final last year, but there's more room to experiment in them, it's fair to say.
Yeah.
I would be saying now probably the point, Mr. Dalić, you kind of have to try three at the back, because you have Sutalo, Vardiol, and Stanisic, who is perfectly fine as a right-sided centre-back. So you have the left. Yeah, you have the perfect three to try try it with, and then you can adapt so you can actually get width. So rather than us seeing these players on the right who aren't right-sided at all, you can play Stanisic and Juranovic in the same side. That'd be fun. Vardiol and Sosa doing the same thing as well.
Or Perisic, if he stays. If he doesn't retire after this tournament, who else? You could still have Piazza, maybe Pasalic, maybe on the left.
Perisic, I'll make a point about in a second, because it's so an interesting opinion on him. But I think that kind of complements what you've got width-wise at the moment, without having to forever have everything inverted.
Yeah.
And while you playing narrow, it helps against Spain. Once you got to grips with Yamal, because Nico Williams was fairly well dealt with by Stanisic. It was the opposite side that was the issue. Once you got to grips with him, then Spain didn't really do all that much, and that narrowness helped in this particular game. But it's not expansive. It naturally makes the game stuffy, and means it's more difficult to score. And it shouldn't be the case that you've got. This is the point I was going to go on to. So I can't remember the person who did it. It was someone on my timeline, Hiblo Martin, a French chap who retweeted it. And the thing was, if you watched Perisic 15 years ago in Belgium, you wouldn't think he'd still be going around pinging in crosses as the only option. That really says a lot about Croatia's production of wingers.
Yeah.
And it's a good point, because 3 years ago you had Perisic, obviously a bit younger, not having just come off injuries. You had Orsic.
You had Orsic.
Also, you had
was Brekalo in that squad?
Brekalo?
No, but yeah.
Brekalo, and as depth as well, you had Goric or Lovric. Now, in the intervening 3 years, Orsic made a bad move to England and is bad injury. Lovric made the wrong move, struggled with injury, not been able to get form, and you look at him now. I think a lot of people would say Osijek would be very well to get rid of him, and Brekalo is just frustrated and had to go back to Hajduk to try and find game time. And even then, I think it's fair to say
still failed to get into the squad.
Yeah, he wasn't making a case for himself to get in this squad.
Yeah.
Now there are, as we know, good wing talents, coming through. You have some mentions. So check if Luka Stojkovic had stayed fit, then maybe this would have been an opportunity for a squad for him to get into had he continued his progression. Fruk, has sort of turned more into a central player, but can play left-sided. But really, Perisic is there because there's a drought in that particular position.
Yeah,
and there shouldn't be. And you end up with playing Kramaric.
Yeah.
Which isn't good.
Yeah, you also have Ivan Nušec, which he didn't even play a minute in that Spain game, which I'm surprised by because Ivan Nušec obviously played for us in the qualifiers a bit, and he obviously played in the Nations League Final Four. Yeah, where he had a very good game against Netherlands.
And even if he's fine, but he's not really a left-sided player.
Yeah,
he played
he's
quite
not,
a bit there for Lokomotiva, but he's a box-to-box midfielder.
He is.
And whenever you're sticking someone out of position there, unless you're putting Perisic there to start, can he last 90 minutes? I don't think so. He hasn't lasted 90 minutes yet.
If he could, he would have. He would have been
exactly.
Played. So sadly, no. But Piazza is obviously. I don't think Dalić thinks that Piazza is ready for that kind of thing yet. Maybe against Albania, he could get 20 minutes if the result is good. Same thing goes for Marko Pasalic, even though I would like to see Pasalic just come on for 30 minutes in whatever game, even against Spain. We were already losing 3-0. What's the harm in giving Pasalic 30 minutes?
Honestly, I'd rather have Pasalic on the right than a Meyer on the left than what was out on Saturday.
Yeah. At least he gives you speed and just gives you something. He can just have a shot. He gives you something.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, sort of one of Croatia's issues in terms of not having that pace option.
Yeah.
Which, again, you see almost every other side has.
Again,
you can work around it, but you can only work around it for so long.
Yeah. So hopefully, so I want the next lineup. Obviously, Loakovic in goal, Stanisic, Šutal and Gvardiol, Sosa on the left. Double pivot, as already mentioned, Kovacic and Modric. On the right, I mean, whoever, really. I think either Kramaric or Meyer have to be in behind Budimir. And I'm kind of more leaning towards Kramaric, even though he didn't really have a good game. But I still think Kramaric is too hard on form from Hoffenheim to be left on the bench. On the left, again, Ivan Nušec, I really don't. For the wings, that's the only position where I'm like, just put anybody in, just do this and put anybody in the wings and Budimir, obviously, and the striker.
I mean, yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I don't think there's not really any reason to drop anyone else, aside from, leaving that really big question over the left wing role. I don't know if you start Perisic and just say, give us a half. Let's get in, maybe see if we can score 1 or 2. And then hopefully we can just take you off and manage your fitness. So you can give us 60 against Italy, let's say. But I don't want to see Kramaric on the left. I don't really want to see him in behind Budimir. He kind of means you have to leave him on the right.
Well, yeah.
Which again, we've seen so many
that's
times.
where I'm hung up on, because that whole free in behind Budimir, that's where I'm hung up on for every single position.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm saying play three at the back, because your wing backs give you your width, and you don't have to worry about this position where you're not very well stocked at the minute. I mean, it depends how brave Dalić wants to be, and he tends not, despite sounding insulting, he tends not to be that brave in terms of his initial selections. He's not going to throw a real wild card in there.
I would like to see maybe Piazza or Pasalic start, but Marko Pasalic, obviously.
Yeah.
But I doubt it. Yeah, but I mean, Baturna too, yeah. Or Sučić even. Yeah. Sučić actually could get a start.
Yeah, I mean, Sučić played fine for what we saw. Yeah. And again, he's a bit of a speedier option, a bit more direct. But yeah, it's kind of interchangeable. You've got, like you say, the better players at this moment in terms of, like say, Kramaric and Maya, who aren't perfect fits in those roles, or you can bring these younger players in who probably are about the same standard, but obviously aren't proven.
Yeah.
But I would be very happy to see Modric, Kovacic, Vatreni triangle in midfield.
Yeah.
That to me would be quite fun. But I think Dalić would probably just stick Vatreni out on the wing.
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't be whatever lineup he puts out. I'm probably not gonna be surprised. Whatever he does, I'm just hoping that Sosa is on left back, because the only player giving you real width against the Spain game was Stanisic, and he was the only one that actually tried to cross the ball before Perisic came on. Everything else was just try something through the midfield. And Sosa is literally the match made in heaven, which we saw in the Armenia game, in the last game of the qualifiers, where we won 1-0. Sosa crossed it in, and who scored it? Budimir scored it. Because Sosa can put that one good ball in, and all Budimir has to do is just head it past the goalkeeper, which more times than not, if the cross is good, he does.
Yeah, and I think specific to the issues that Albania are going to cause, because let's try and not sort of look at the previous performance. Yeah. Really, I think who's going to play as that front three will be Broha down the centre, Asani on the right, who is always going to want to come in and shoot. So if you've got Sosa turning him into Vardiol, that's
very good.
Much better. And then you right side, so on Albania's left, it was Talent Safari who started against Italy. He had a terrible game.
He was absolutely atrocious.
And then Abehocha came on, and he was brilliant.
And Mucci came in for 5 minutes.
Yeah, just why? So I think you will probably see Hoxha start the Croatia game. I don't see how you could justify playing Saveri, and Mucci will have to play because he's just again Silvino. You don't drop that guy,
but he did.
But again, Stanisic should be winning a battle against Hoxha.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's be honest. Again, so he's going to want to do. He's not going to be quite as direct as Asani, but he's going to want to run with the ball, run in the box, and go around your outside and try and get a shooting angle there, rather than be taking the long shot on and try and make the Hollywood moment.
Yeah.
From what we saw of Albania against Italy, they were fine. Obviously you get that fluke goal at the start and a brilliant moment, and they had a brilliant support as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The stadium went mad.
Yeah, but then Italy switched that around really quickly. Arguably, Italy switched it around too quickly, in the sense purely that they then just took the foot off the pedal completely.
Yeah,
and they smothered the game for the rest of the first half, and then sort of managed their energy for the second half. And Albania should have come out of that with a point. They would have deserved it, I think, if they got that.
Yeah, if they got that, but Italy also missed some chances.
Yeah, but I think definitely we probably saw the game between the best two teams in the group on Saturday.
Yeah. And Albania just suits us more, I think, because obviously they're going to try to hit you with the speed. We will, I hope, dominate possession way more than we did against Spain, and just force them into a one defensive mistake, which hopefully we'll use, and then the game will slowly open up.
Yeah, it's just almost follow the Italian blueprint, which is get in front and just smother the game. And there's no better side at doing that than Croatia. Yeah,
and also try to score as many goals as you can, because -3 goals. In the case you lose against Italy, which I think we can get a draw very easily against Italy, maybe even win the match. But if the worst comes again, if it just isn't on our day and everything bolts up, just if we get 2 goals against Albania and we draw it, or we lose, well, actually we need at least 3 goals, because a -1 goal difference is, I think you're pretty not pretty safe, but you're somewhat safe to go through with a
If
minus
I
1 goal difference.
Remember rightly, because someone had a statistical distribution of this. I think it was you get a 50% chance of qualifying in
with a
this
minus
method.
3.
Yeah, with 3 points and minus 3.
Yeah. And
that's win it,
that's
win
a lot.
1-0, lose 1-0.
Yeah. Essentially,
Scotland aren't getting there. To the 3 or to the minus 3, Matt.
Yeah. But yeah, what else? I'm not gonna talk about the game against Italy because we just have to win against Albania. It's a game you have to win no matter what. I don't care if we're gonna win 5-0 or 1-0 with the flukiest goal ever. We just have to win.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll probably find a bit of time to talk between the next round of games as well. So, like I say, don't really want to touch too much on Italy. I don't think we saw much from Italy that would suggest they're going to beat Spain. I mean, I think if whether you agree with me or not on this one, bearing in mind we've not seen France play yet. If you were putting together
they're about to start
the best teams in the Euros that we've seen so far, Spain are first, then Germany. To me, Croatia probably maybe 6 or 7. They're not that far down the ranking or anything like that. England came out last night; they weren't impressive.
No.
Bellingham was great for a half, but as soon as Mladenovic came on for Kostic, that was England really done as an attacking force. Slovenia were good. They were very good.
They were good.
Denmark. And I've said this through before. I think they are tuning themselves to peak in that last game against England. And if there is a side that have come out of this first round of games with their reputation enhanced as potential dark horses in the tournament, I would say it's Slovenia.
Yeah.
Because again, you're not allowed to call Croatia dark horses anymore, ever.
It's banned.
And I think I said in our pre-tournament one that I thought Romania were dark horses as well. They proved that today.
Yeah.
There haven't been many really bad sides. Okay. But, there's not been that many really poor performances. The Swiss have turned up. Hungary in that game were very good.
They were okay. They were good.
And then got caught.
Yeah. They were just too bad in the first half.
Yeah. Denmark fine. Really, there's maybe of the sides that have looked pants, it's Scotland, Ukraine. That's it.
Yeah.
It's proved to be a very competitive tournament so far. Even Poland were half decent. And
that's the biggest surprise for me. Not even Slovenia showing up. The Poland was the biggest surprise. I was expecting Poland to get 0 points.
Yeah. They're better without Lewandowski, like Portugal are better without Ronaldo. That's it.
Exactly.
But I think it's quite easy to be disheartened by one defeat.
Especially a 3-0 defeat.
Yeah, it was 3-0, but you're not going to see many closer 3-0s than that. And, as we sort of say, that's against the side that are probably going to be in the final 4, maybe win this tournament.
Yeah, I think at least semis. Depends on who they come up against.
Yeah, there's no shame in it. I think if you run that game back as the final, 1, I'd be quite happy with that from an entertainment perspective. and 2, it wouldn't finish 3-0.
No.
And we know, we've seen what Spain can do when they're switched on. We saw it in the first Nations League. What was it, 6-0 or something like that? Sometimes you just meet these sides that are ruthless, that are very good, and for want of a better term, S happens.
Yeah. You can swear.
I try not to. When I'm not on camera, I swear like anything. But
but when on camera, turn on the filter.
When on camera, I'm polite. My children might watch this. People from my work might watch this. Yeah, I think from a coaching perspective, one of the better accounts I thought is someone called it's Fox Punter is like their username, and they purely do it on like personality archetypes and things like that. And a lot of it is that sort of Jake Humphrey high performance nonsense.
Yeah,
but sometimes they come out with some very good stuff about how you actually look at the psychological perspective of coaching aside. And I always think it's very interesting because there's a lot invested in making sure players are mentally ready. And I think if you're just trying to make players mentally ready for the Albania game, you wouldn't be going in and saying, we change this, that. You don't need to do that. You need to do, we did fine. It happened. We executed the game plan pretty well, but we didn't score.
Yeah, so the individual mistakes cost us.
Yeah, you're looking at the old Team Sky marginal gains. You're looking at tuning it from 98% of a performance to 99 to 100. That is the difference between Spain winning that game 3-0 and Croatia winning that game 2-1, let's say.
Or even drawing 2-2.
Yeah, it's not a giant gulf. It wasn't a giant gulf in quality.
It wasn't a 3-0.
No. And against Albania, you're going to get challenged. We know they can shoot well from distance. We know we're very familiar with quite a few of their players. Like I say, obviously, Roger, but it's hardly the only high and hell alumnus in that particular squad. But Albania aren't as good as Spain, and Albania will probably lose 3-0 to Spain or worse. And that's not a slight on Albania at all. That's just how Spain are.
Yeah, but I mean, Albania has nothing to lose, so they have nothing to lose, and when you have nothing to lose, you can just do whatever you want.
Exactly.
So hopefully that goes against them and goes in favor for us. But let's go back to the game because we skipped over the humongous moment sadly that's somehow. In Croatia media, and you gotta give credit to Dalić. He's been able to defer all the intention from the match and his mistakes to Petković for missing a penalty at 3-0.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you say what you like about the penalty itself and the incursion from Perisic before it, and the refereeing that led up to it. There are two key things about that is all you really need to know. One, Bruno Petković should not have fallen over. He should have just scored the goal. You're a striker. That's what you meant to do. There wasn't enough contact for.
No, I absolutely do not defend. I do not defend that. If anybody cares, that you cannot defend that. You just need to just touch it. You can't miss the goal.
Take the goal first, and if you don't score the goal, then you take the penalty. Fine.
Yeah.
The second thing is, I think we're both Petković fans in general, but we saw what happened in the Nations League. We know what Petković can be like from the spot. You just don't let him take that penalty. And I mean, we can talk about sort of what Dalić has said afterwards. One thing that, even with the length of time of the VAR check and things like that, we didn't really see any of the conversations on the field. What I did like to see was, Dalić said Perisic and Maya were in front of him to take that. Well, what were they actually doing at that point?
Yeah.
Was someone going over saying, no, actually, Bruno, this is my turn, not yours?
No. So what happened is Petković asked Perisic to take the penalty, and Perisic said, oh, yeah, sure.
Well, that...
Yeah.
You're a senior player, Mr. Perisic.
Yeah, the problem with Perisic is, I don't know why Perisic is that high in the hierarchy. He's taken 12 penalties, and he's only scored 6, which is half.
Yeah, and to be fair, the other option Dalić said was Maya.
Maya.
Come on.
I think he's only missed one penalty, and that's in the Nations League.
But the one weakness in his game is scoring.
But he's very good from the spot. I think he in game penalties. Not talking. I don't think it counts penalties in the shootouts. But he's taken 14 penalties, scored all 14.
Oh, fair enough then. Someone had to just pull rank on Petković. And like I said, if he's gone to Perisic, and Perisic has known, actually, it's meant to be my turn to be taking this penalty, Perisic should just say, no, I'm taking this penalty.
Yeah. He said it's fine. Yeah, he said it's fine. But the problem I have there is Dalić comes out straight after the match and says that, it's the hierarchy. He shouldn't have taken the penalty. First off, you had 2 minutes at least during the VAR, as you said, to get that message across. Oh, you see Petković holding the ball, about to take the penalty. Call Stanisic. I think he's the closest one to your side. Call Stanisic. Hey, Josip, he shouldn't take that. Okay, give it to Perisic or Meyer. Didn't do that. You had time. You cannot tell me Dalić didn't have time, and you cannot tell me that the players couldn't hear him because the atmosphere was dead. The fans stopped after the first few goals.
But I mean, to part defend Dalić by lumping the blame on Petković, it's diverted the blame from him.
Yeah, and that's what he does.
And he's done it, but he's
done it's not
it
the first time.
It's not. We talk about tournaments in a row. 2018, Kalinic.
Yeah.
Livaya. Petković.
That's the first comparison I did when I saw that, because he's been blaming Livaya for a year now. A year after the tournament, just before the Euros, he still again said if Livaya was there, we may have won it. It's been a year, mate. It's been a year. Just let it go.
But it's a fair tactic for him to deflect blame onto.
Yeah, no.
Let's be honest, rotational strikers.
As I said, great job on Dalić for being able to do that again and again, and for some people to not even realize that he's doing it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you beat Albania 2-0. You pretty much through.
Yeah.
So
second off, so first off, you don't get the message across for Petković to not take the penalty. Second, you go out there. You have let's say you have the hierarchy, which and you also say that players that get fouled do not take the penalty, which has happened before, which happened in the Nations League against the Netherlands. Modric won the penalty, Kramaric took it. What was I gonna say? So if you have that hierarchy, which has obviously been affected before, the players know that. And let's say Petković does break it. Let's say, okay, Perisic should have taken the penalty. He shouldn't have said okay to Petković taking the penalty. Then you don't come out and say that in the press conference. You just say, hey, it wasn't a great day. We're going to focus on Albania now and we have to win. No, instead he goes out, blames Petković, essentially. Just do that inside the four walls. After the press conference, you go to analyze the match, just say, hey, Bruno, you fucked up, okay? You should have taken the penalty. That shouldn't have happened. Never again, okay? I don't want to see you taking a penalty again. For not like that, but like, if you're not in the hierarchy to take the penalty, you do not take it, especially if you've been fouled. You do that in four walls, not for the world to know. But we know why he did it, so you know. Hashtag family, anyways. That's a great family. That's a great family. Anytime somebody does something wrong, you're like, yep, gotta tell it to the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, success is what gets you away with it.
Yeah.
And I do not like seeing managers put players under the bus.
No, absolutely not.
When you consistently do it, but again, sort of his record of success says it all.
It says it all, but I hate that I think he also said that he's a manager that has made zero mistakes. Which, I mean,
yeah,
you're
leave that one there. Like, no one's ever done that.
Yeah, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Just admit your mistakes. It's not even that how you just say, hey, I made a mistake. That's it. That's all you have to do. But no, Dalić would rather somehow put the blame, and successfully do it too, put the blame on Petković for missing a penalty at 3-0 in the 80th minute. And also, another thing. if that is a penalty, even though it does seem he dived, but VAR says it's a penalty, there in no world is that a penalty and a yellow. That's either a penalty and a red, or no penalty at all. That in between, no.
The best thing, sorry, it just reminded me of that. It was on the UK coverage on ITV. They have a referee consultant in the studio.
Oh,
so you heard as soon as the penalty was like, we're going to go over to our referee and consultant, and she's going to explain what should be happening here. Complete silence. So for that period, just like a minute of dead air, we just found out that her mic had broke, and they just came back and like, well, yeah, she can't explain it either. Like, yeah, that pretty much sums that decision up. It was like trust the first time the English get involved in the competition at all. From a refereeing perspective, there to be chaos.
Yeah, not surprised. The refereeing was perfect up until then. The first two matches, very good, especially the first one.
Yeah.
Then you get
yes.
Yeah.
Never a red
card. Never a red. I actually heard my grandpa the day after. That wasn't a red. He got the ball first. He almost decapitated his leg.
I'm not sure that's the right term, but yes, I know what you
mean.
I
mean, he almost broke his leg in two parts.
Yeah,
very easily.
I think the was Ali McCoach like, oh, he had to make that tackle. Well, yeah, he had to make that tackle.
Well, yeah,
he also didn't have to go
two-footed, especially.
Yeah,
but anyway,
let's leave that trauma behind.
Yeah. So what else do we mention? Yeah, I mean, we mentioned that. I mean, we've covered pretty much everything, I think.
So should we do predictions for the Albania game then?
Yeah, I hope for at least I want at least a two goal win.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'd like to hope for 3, but I think.
I would like to hope for 3.
It's quite hard to see, and even though I know Croatia have done it 2 weeks ago, it's quite hard to see them scoring more than 2.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope that Dalić does recognize his mistakes, even though he won't say it out loud. I just hope he realizes his mistakes and just says, okay, Guardiola center back, we're going to be, because you're missing out on all of the qualities that Joško has by putting him wide. Pongracic doesn't have not even close in any department to be compared with Guardiola. Which what we spoke about. What do you lose more with Sosa being on the left, or do you lose more with Pongracic being that center back and Guardiola being on the left?
Well, and I think question himself, Mr.
Yeah, he absolutely did. So yeah, I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if he just places Dalić instead of Pongracic and keeps Guardiola on the left and just says, well, Pongracic didn't work, maybe Dalić works. So
Which he
probably
will.
I say, listen, I'm just saying that because I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm kind of preparing mentally for that when I see the lineup come out. Because right now there's nothing that's come out about Dalić saying like any changes. So I just hope he makes some changes because he has to.
Yeah. But the good news is we can leave this international nonsense to one side. The season properly starts tomorrow with the first qualifying round draw for Champions League and Conference League.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where the real stuff is.
And on top of that, the Gattuso press conference.
Yes. I hope they don't conflict. I could be really... I'm at my kid's sports day tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to be like, checking my phone. Who have, I really like UEFA have put in the provisional groups, there's 60% chance that Borac are getting either Decic Tuzi from the Albanian part.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Egnatia from Albania, or Struga from the Albanian part of Macedonia. That'll be fun. So, yeah. Gattuso, Conference League draw, kids' sports day. Yeah,
it's all the fun.
Sorry, kids. I'm not recording this one for posterity. Hope you don't win.
Anyways, we have 2 questions which I think we have pretty much covered. Why did Petković dive instead of tapping it in? Who should start if Brozo is dropped? We covered that pretty spot on. Should he have dived? No, just put it in. And who should replace Broz?
The why he dived, I don't think anyone can really answer that. But you need to be inside Bruno Petkovic's head, and I don't think any of us want to do that.
Yeah, I think like 20 years from now, there's gonna be a TV show with Bruno Petković going over his career, and the interviewer is gonna ask him, "So Bruno, why did you dive?" And then he's gonna say, "Oh well, I couldn't care less. I just did it for the fun."
Yeah, I think maybe 10 years he'll be like owning a club, owning a discotheque with Samir, something like that. I can just kind of see that sort of life panning out for him. Running a bar in the evening, playing chess in the afternoon. That's the life.
Yeah. Who should start if Brozo is dropped? I think somebody more attacking, because I hope that if Brozo is dropped, we get Modric and a Kovacic pivot, double pivot in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
And do you think the criticism of Brozovic is warranted? Yes.
Yeah.
Because he did not do his job.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean that's as blatantly as I can put it. He didn't do his job. Not when in possession or when out of possession, especially when out of possession.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean we sort of went through the stats for that one. The far less defensively responsible players were doing far more defensively than him to try and compensate. You can't carry that through a tournament, unfortunately for us.
Yeah. So, I mean, what else to cover except that France has kicked off and yet to score a goal, which, 20 minutes in, bit of a surprise.
Give him time.
Mbappe's about to score another hat-trick. Give him time.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else to cover? I mean, Scotland, should we?
Well, I mean, we mentioned them at the start. I think we'll just mention that Thomas Muller still hasn't scored a goal at the Euros. I think that was 16 games he's now played.
Yeah.
At the Euros.
He did get an assist.
But he's got assists before. It doesn't count.
Yeah, like that's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're playing against Switzerland, so Switzerland was very good in the first game.
We're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for us, this is probably the first time Steve Clarke is really going to be under pressure, because people excused 2021 as in, we've been out of major tournaments for 23 years. There was a little bit of being overawed. There was a little bit.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, it was just the success of being there.
Yeah, and we were in a difficult group. Not to say that this group isn't difficult, but we got a draw against England. We showed ourselves to be good against a better side, which obviously we've had that opportunity in this tournament already and absolutely, blown it.
Yeah.
I think we'll end up with 0 points. I think we'll probably end up with the worst goal difference. And yeah, it's
not looking good.
It's not great. It's not looking good. But at the same time, maybe that's just natural pessimism because that's just kind of the national condition.
Yeah, I mean, what's that saying you have? Being Scottish is shite.
It's a thing from Train Spotting. It's shite being Scottish.
Yeah. It's shite being Scottish. Yeah. Mixed up the words, but yeah. Anyways, I hope Croatia comes up when they need to, because we have done that for 99% when we needed to come up with a win. We have. An example given against you guys in the last Euros. You're welcome.
I think you're welcome. We let you have the freedom of management.
It's not that Croatia were good. Scotland was just very shit.
Yes.
Yeah, and we also came up with a win against Canada in the World Cup. Well, where else? We beat Armenia. We obviously, anytime in qualifiers we need to come up big, we do come up big. So hopefully we come up big in 2 days' time on Wednesday or tomorrow when you're listening to this.
Yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. So hopefully we'll see you guys in between the Albania game and the league game, and hopefully we're not gonna be speaking about, well, you know, what are we gonna talk about here? Croatia's out of the tournament, so
we were talking about the flights home. Yeah.
You know, maybe
anyone else to be left.
maybe if Croatia does lose against Albania, maybe we can join Serbia on a together flight and just, you know, not waste as much money, so we can both go home together.
Get on the party bus with Slovenia.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Slovenia
Just 3
stays
stops.
there. I wouldn't be surprised if Slovenia stays for the few days.
That would be quite something. Croatia and Serbia go home in the groups, and Slovenia.
Yeah, and Slovenia progresses. Yeah.
What?
But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and hopefully we're the next time you see us, it's on a very more positive note, and Dalić actually starts Guardiola at center back.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for listening and or watching. So see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.